Lucky Boys Podcast.
It was my roommate who is Thai. He actually just went back to Thailand to visit his family. And it was like around midnight. He went to CVS, it was just like picking up snacks. We always do this.
Is this in Queens?
Yeah, this is in Queens. And somebody jumped on his back and started strangling him.
Totally unprovoked?
Literally the most gentle, kind person you'll ever meet, and that's why I was so angry once I found out, because he wouldn't harm a fly. He's the most passive, peaceful person. And even after it happened, he was trying to hold in the emotion of fear so that he wouldn't have me be worried about him. But you could tell he was so genuinely shook. And the worst part was that there were so many people around. There's a security guard, there's all these people who are checking out their stuff at CVS, and nobody helped. And the guy,
bystander effect.
And there were still people there?
Yeah. I mean,
customers,
workers,
workers,
people working there, security guard was there.
Security guard.
Yeah.
And no one did anything?
Nobody did anything. Yeah.
They just was willing to watch him get choked out?
Mm-hmm. And luckily he had his arm next to his neck.
His
so he was able to prevent the actual person.
But they have it on camera. Did he press charges?
So he asked for the footage, and the security guard just didn't help him whatsoever. And he was just okay, I'm not going to pursue this further. So he just went home.
What?
Yeah. And then
he didn't even call the cops?
He texted me to come out of my room, and I did. And he was like, this is what happened to me. Just be careful. And actually, just recently, I've been feeling very on the streets, even at nighttime, I can't walk around, because even in that area, there were these 3 guys who were just catcalling is one thing, but they took it to the next level, where it was about me being Asian, and
they said something.
Yeah, it was basically oh, give us our 2 minutes, we want our happy endings, yada
so
yada, stuff like
up.
that. You owe him it was 3 guys who were saying disgusting stuff to me, while I'm coming back from work, while I'm just trying to go home, and I was just man, this is I have to go to these, anti-Asian racism rallies. I would anyways, but I'm just this is really happening, and it's, you just have to show up.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's crazy.
It was not awesome, that's for sure. But I'm just glad my roommate is, physically okay, and he's with his family now, so yeah.
Why didn't he decide to press charges? Because they have a camera there, and I'm sure that CVS will cooperate.
Yeah. I think just because he was so rattled from that experience, and then he did try to seek help, and it wasn't immediately provided. Yeah. I think he was just okay, I don't want to think about this. I'm just going to put it away.
I mean, first of all, it's not your roommate's fault. There should be no shame, even though he probably feels a lot of shame, right? It's certainly not his fault, and he has to fight that feeling and go, you know what, that could happen to someone else. Nah, I got to get this person off the street. I have to say something. I have to bring that awareness up.
Also that, and when you were saying that nobody helped out, that's really traumatizing.
Yeah.
To feel that alone.
Yeah.
In a busy street.
That happened to me one time. I don't think it was specifically because of my race or anything like that, but this homeless lady just smacked me on the back of the head at Port Authority. It was during the summertime.
Past summer?
Yeah, this past summer. And I was looking around, and people saw it and just kind of kept moving. There was one lady who was just oh, did you say something to her? Is that why she smacked you? And it was already just the blame was on me, it felt and I was just no. So then I was just okay, I'm getting out of this situation. I'm not gonna it was it's just
blaming the victim.
It's just crazy how
That's
people
crazy.
react in those situations, because it's just oh, what did you do to make them react like that, when in reality a lot of the time it's unprovoked.
Weren't they looking at the entire time to see what was happening?
A lot of times if you are walking by, you could be catching, you could hear something,
yeah,
and then afterwards look, and then
okay, they weren't paying attention.
You would try to create a story in your head,
right,
go, well, this person obviously didn't hit this person for no reason. That person, what is this?
They must
crazy.
have said something.
They came to
deserve
the
it.
end of the.
Meanwhile, that person's just, probably filled with hate.
Absolutely.
Whether it's your race or the way you look, or they feel some sort of jealousy or shortcoming, so they feel like they need to hit you for that. I think it's we're a bunch of freaking 5-year-olds in a freaking playground. It's ridiculous.
That's so insane. I mean, like I mean, going back, just so traumatizing because, but we have to, be able to report this because, if no one knows about it, and that's why these rallies and these marches are happening, because it's been going on for so long, even before the pandemic, but because it's been going on for so long, and nothing's being done,
right,
that we have to, just regular people just going out on the street, raising our voices.
Just raise awareness, because so many people just don't even realize that like racism against Asians is a thing, and like so many people are still just like, oh yeah, everything's fine, like, and you just have to tell your stories and like, tell about your experiences. Otherwise people just aren't gonna,
and they have to report
have that
it.
perspective.
They look at the numbers. You know what? Stories like yours, stories like your roommates is not uncommon within the Asian circle. Every Asian person, I bet, I'm willing to wager that they know someone or have at least 1 degree of separation where they know someone that have been a victim of some sort of hate crime or prejudice or racism. And that just tells you how normal it is and how frequent it is. And then we get gaslighted and people try to tell us that, nah, that doesn't happen to you. You're the model minority. You guys are white adjacent. You guys don't experience racism. You don't experience the hardships of life. And I'm going to say, no, that's absolutely not true. We know it's not true. But what I am willing to say is that we may not bitch about it. We may not speak up about it. We may just kind of just take it all in and just keep working through it and keep fighting through it.
And that's what I will say about my roommate, just to like go off of that, is that he avoids conflict. He avoids confrontation, and like, I don't think he's like one to really like take a situation by the horns,
It's an emotion, right? And we can't bury anger. I think a lot of people deal with anger incorrectly, where they try to avoid it entirely. It's part of your human emotion, as with love and happiness and all that. And we're so quick to allow happiness, and that's great. But when things happen to us, we have to express anger. We have to learn how to deal with being angry. And not hurting other people, but using that and turning that into still energy. Into
action.
In this case, speak up about it. And if you're going to the rallies, if you're, that's a big problem in our community, not speaking up.
And I also think like it's important to let him know that he's not alone.
Yeah.
Because we were talking to Protect Chinatown in our previous podcast. And they said like it's very traumatic for someone to go through that where they're being attacked. But if there's actually somebody who actually comes and comforts them right after, that actually diminishes the effects of that, PTSD.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think when that happened to him and nobody came to his aid, that really affected something in terms of psychologically, and probably he just wanted just to forget about it and just move on.
I remember I posted a story about it, like just telling everyone, who I know what happened, and he read that and he was like thank you for, because like he didn't, and he does have Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't think he wanted to be the one to like tell the story. Why is that? I'm not sure.
I think there's a lot of factors,
right?
But just some shame I get it, to say like, I got
if it's but if there's some shame and may help highlight that story, and he said thank you. Right. So he's obviously not wanting to hide it. So why is that? Is he, to me, I'm not so sure if it's.
This is like one person, one particular situation, right. So everybody's different.
Right. I'm just talking about him in general. Right. Yeah. So I'm going, if something happened to me and I feel shame, I don't want anyone to know. Don't put it on your story. Don't talk about it to anyone. Keep it. It's our secret. Yeah. I tell you this because I'm uncomfortable with anyone else knowing about it outside of us. But if he thanked you, if you did something for me and I said thank you for telling that story, then maybe he feels. I would imagine maybe he feels like he doesn't have support.
Enough people who are listening, right?
Maybe he feels like it'll just be a waste of time and energy. And then he probably doesn't want to relive that moment, that feeling. Yeah. But I mean, I speak with people that has been victims, and they're scared. They're frightened. They feel shame. and they all deal with it differently. So I do respect that, but I think the way to get peace back is to fight back. I think that's because if you don't, then it's going to happen to more people. Like each of us have to be that spark in order to make that change. All of us. Well, yeah, when you look at it like yourself, yeah, what can I do? I can't make a difference. You're right. If you look at it that way, you're making that come true. But if you look at it, like I said, we all know at least one person that's gone through. What if they all reported it?
Right.
And honestly, these stories that are coming out that are actually being recorded, they actually sparked a lot of these movements.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, I get it. You know, there's you don't want to report on something that happened to you that might not be like, you know, you might be shameful about it. There's no support. But I always constantly tell, like, even my mom, I tell her, if something happens or my family members, they have to report it. So that, you know, it's actually recorded. And then even if nothing comes about it, there's actually a record of it, you know, so something we could refer back to it if need be. But I don't know. There's just so much crap happening right now.
Yeah. It always has been, but like very, very apparent right now.